Imagine you wake up tomorrow and money doesn't exist. Not like the banks crashed or the economy collapsed, just it was never invented. No prices, no wages, no rent, nothing. How do you eat? How do you get anything? How does any of this work? Most people's first answer is barter. You've got eggs, I've got bread. We trade. Everyone's happy. Simple, obvious, makes total sense. Except it's complete and the real answer is way more interesting. Here's the thing. Economists invented the barter story. Adam Smith wrote it down in 1776, and it spread everywhere because it sounds logical. Except anthropologists have been studying pre-money societies for 200 years across every continent, and they've never found one that actually ran on barter. Not one. So if not barter, then what? The closest word is obligation. You go out, hunt something big. More meat than your family can eat before it goes bad. So you give it away. To the old people, to families with kids, to the guy who helped you last month, even though he wouldn't shut up about his back pain. No negotiation, you just do it. And you don't get a bigger share for being the hunter. What you get is that people remember. When you're sick, when you have a bad season, when you need help, they remember that you shared. That memory is the economy. Your reputation was literally your bank account. Some anthropologists estimate hunter-gatherers only spent a few hours a day securing food. The rest was social life, rituals, rest, existing together. What held the system together wasn't trade. It was the fact that everyone knew everything about everyone. Who shared, who vanished when things got difficult, who could be trusted. The system only works if the group is small enough that nobody can hide. That system worked for most of human history. Then farming shows up. And farming creates something that changes everything. Surplus. More grain than you can eat. Which sounds great until you hit the obvious question. Whose is it? You can't run a memory-based system with warehouses full of grain. Grain can be stored, counted, taxed, controlled. And once something can be controlled, someone will control it. Suddenly, you have owners, temples, records, debts. The earliest writing ever found isn't stories or prayers, it's accounting. Mesopotamian clay tablets tracking grain in, grain out, labor owed, debts recorded. Writing was invented because memory stopped scaling. Debt existed before money, before coins, before markets as we think of them. And in some ancient societies, if you couldn't repay what you owed, your children could be taken as collateral. Literally taken. The first financial systems already had debt slavery built into them. Then coins show up around 600 BCE, a small piece of stamped metal that lets you trade with complete strangers. No relationship required, no history, no trust beyond the coin itself, which was revolutionary. Human cooperation suddenly scaled far beyond tribe, village, or family. You no longer needed to personally know the baker, the farmer, or the builder. But money also changed something quieter. Before money, your value was personal. You were the person who showed up that winter, the person who shared, the person people could count on. Money made value transferable, generic. Your labor became something that could be priced, compared, replaced. A wage can come from anyone. You went from being needed by people to being needed by a market, which is a very different thing. And honestly, this is the part that gets me. Modern life is unbelievably connected and weirdly isolating at the same time. The old system forced connection because survival depended on specific people choosing to keep you alive. You couldn't afford isolation. The group was the point. Money solved that. You don't need specific people anymore. You need money, and money can come from anywhere, which gives you a kind of freedom most humans in history never had. But the trade-off is that nothing makes it anyone's job to notice if you disappear. Money means you don't need specific people anymore, but I still need you to subscribe so the algorithm knows I exist. See you in the next one.